I mean, I felt that we were in that game, going to be in that game with the offense that we were going to be able to generate. But you're still, nothing's going for you. At that time, you're breaking sticks on some of your best chances, and it's shaky. But, I mean, I don't know. I think we ended up with 92 shot attempts. We played the game in the right end of the rink. Those are dangerous games, though. They got enough skill that they don't need a lot of chances to beat your goalie, and then you get into a tight game. And so we didn't come off it. The ugly ones, they were hard grinders to the net. Mark Stahls was a nice passing play, but we had a whole lot of opportunities, and we just couldn't get it past them.
What was the biggest barrier that led to the slow start there?
Yeah, I don't feel we came. Actually, I liked our first 3 or 4 shifts. They were pushing. I gave up the goal on a D-zone coverage, and most of what we've given up is off rushes and things and power play lately. So it was our. You're down 2-0. I think we had 6 even seg shots against and 14-4. I don't think we were behind it in the game. I really didn't feel that. And then after Eric's goal, I think we spent the vast majority of the time. I think we were guilty at overpassing pucks, and we could have shot more. But you put up 92 tries, you're probably shooting enough, right? Bury a few of those. I don't ever believed in the idea of bearing down, because every one of those guys is trying to score on those shots and hit some bars. And anyway, we needed the win. We got it. We pushed hard for it. That caused us some problems, right? Caused some of the stuff that we gave up because we were driving so hard for it. We got a few people caught deep, or you get a couple of bad breaks with the puck. It doesn't go your way, then they get their chances. But other than that, I didn't think we'd given up a whole hell of a lot in that game.
Yeah, what was the response like down 3-2? Was there like an obvious feeling of urgency on
No,
the
you know
bench
what?
or
You
anything like
learned.
that?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But that was down 1.
Yeah.
They were barking. Like, the bench was right. But you get to look. We hadn't had a lot of comebacks this year, right? We hadn't felt that. And then the Boston game, I think, is still ingrained. I mean, if it takes it to the last second, you just stay in the fight. And still, there's still 7.5 minutes left on the clock. You're going, we're probably going to get 4 chances to score here. And if there's any kind of hockey karma going on, we're going to get at least one of them to go. Like, it was a pretty one-sided game, and we just couldn't get it by their tender, or we hit bars, or we missed net, or we bounced off people. But that'll be as much offense as we generated in the game all year, and could only get 3 in regulation.
Columbus, kind of similar.
Yeah, very simple. I felt in Columbus we were off net front. Like we put shots up from the outside that their goaltender, we warmed the goalie up nice in the first period and kept him warm up for the rest of the night. I thought we had a lot of dangerous stuff around their net. And so that, I think maybe in some ways in those games it's easier to stay in that, because the next shift you can get one.
And real quick, you guys right now, for the time being, got a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about, you talked a little bit about it Thursday in Washington, but the
progression of the months. We
yeah.
were down 8. I felt we needed to be down 4 at the end of that first month, and especially with that January schedule. So I was really proud of the way that we fought through that. Try to get it to even if we possibly can here by the end of this month, and then we got to clean up those extra games. I mean, some teams got a whole bunch of games on them, but they're all road games. So the work is ahead of us now. We're at home. We can get some. We're going to get, I think, 2 guys back here for Buffalo, which would be good for us. I think Bennett for sure is coming back, and there's a chance Duclair comes back. We'll get a feel on Smith here tomorrow. He'll get looked at. Got a couple other guys banged up, but I think with the rest that we have now, we can get healthy.
Yeah, how's he doing? Giovanni, how's he doing?
He's okay. We X-rayed him. It was negative, but and he didn't go into the protocol based on the tests. So, but this is still, we're going to test him again tomorrow and test him again the next day, and we'll just see how he feels.
It looked like he got hit under the right here.
Yeah.
About right.
Yeah, about right. Yeah.
Gordon Hagee, limp crawling off the ice there in the second period, taking a shot, and then he comes later, scores the OT winner. Just what can you say about the fight?
Yeah, well, I think the battle through frustration and then have the confidence to make the play on the goal, because he had a whole bunch of chances to score, and as the leading goal scorer on the team, you feel that pressure, and you don't get that many chances in a game. So when you get through the second period and you've had a whole bunch of chances to score and you haven't, there's a frustration there. But I mean, goal scores goal, right? He pulled the goalie just a bit. That's a good. We didn't want to go to a shootout with these guys because they're elite at it. So it was a good finish.
And in your career, I mean, just being a 30-goal scorer for him, it's the first time in his career. What does this mantle mean for guys?
Oh, it's a big deal for him when you hit it the first time, and then you realize you still got a whole bunch of games. What else can we do? And I think Carter really is just coming into the true confidence of a shooter, that he understands, and it took us a while to get to the point that he is the shooter and he shouldn't be deferring on the ice, and if it's on his stick, we want that shot first. He's going to score a whole lot of goals, because I don't think there are guys who score 20 or 30 and I'm going, oh, they got lucky, right? That's not happening again. And I don't think I think the opposite is true. He's missed a whole bunch of chances that I think they'll start coming from where that true confidence of being a shooter settles in.
And Eric Stahl, you played 15-something.
Yeah,
Felt
yeah.
like 20-some. I mean, every
No,
time
and
you
he
looked
left
on the ice,
he left the ice there in the last 5 minutes and came back toward the end of the game, or he would have played more. He is peaking, right, and he has been all year. His conditioning after the year off, his numbers keep getting stronger and stronger, and his brain for the game is so good that what he's done is he's built that line with Lombard and Cousins, and they were our best line tonight. And they have been in all of the heavy fatigue games when and this whole thing started back in Minnesota when I played Barkov 28 minutes, right? So and you watch the progression of our top players. They weren't as offensively gifted, or things weren't going their way because they played so much. You needed that line stall to come through really big in Washington and really big here tonight.
He also seemed to capture he knew how important this game was. It looked like it.
He loves to play, and he understands. As a player gets older, they value the push more and more, the big games more and more. They can mentally drive harder. Sometimes a 22-year-old doesn't fully, he thinks he's playing the next 16 years. He's lots of big games, but the older players value these. They wind themselves up better.
You mentioned how the Boston game was ingrained in your
Yeah.
brain. That's now your third comeback when
Yeah.
trailing after the first period, none before January 28th. How much more confidence is there in your group when heading into the year?
You have to feel that in tight games, too, that you can come back and win. So coming back down 4-1 and blowing the doors off a team, you know when you get into the A teams that's just not going to happen, right? You get into playoffs, that's a tough thing to do. But being down 1 or 2 and grinding it back, that you get to keep.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
everybody.